In this demo, we'd like to implement a simple shell script which will display if a user is logged in or not. I started here my virtual machine running elementary OS, and let's go to the application menu and from here start the text editor. I'll just create a new file and first save the file. Let's go in the documents folder and give it a name like login check.sh. We are going to implement it with the syntax of Bourne shell. The first line, because we have several interpreters that can be launched, we make sure that we specify this should be executed with Bourne shell. This is a special command saying which interpreter should be launched. We'll implement a script that will check if a user is logged in or not, and for that our script will have to receive an argument. So let's check that the number of arguments, for that we have the hash variable, and we check by executing the test command, which is evaluating a logical instruction. We check that the number of arguments is equal to 1. As you can see, we are using flags in order to express logical operators in an expression like this. Then if we have the number of arguments, we'll do the check. If not, let's say that we will echo how the command should be launched. So let's say that the normal usage should be, and I'll use the variable 0 for the name of the script, and then a text for the user to know that it has to provide, the script has to receive an argument which will be the name of the user. Okay, if we have one argument, and now let's go to the terminal and see how we can implement it. Okay, so here I will just search for the terminal, and in here we have several options. For instance, we have the command who, that's displaying the active sessions, but we would like to have all the sessions, even those without a terminal. So one option would be to search using the grep command, and I linked these commands in a pipe, and search for the name of the user, like myself for instance. Okay, and this will display the commands, the lines that were outputted by the who command with the flag -a, which contain the text. So what you can see here is that if I'm searching for a user, like the terminal prefix, I'll see that the user is logged in. I mean, the grep command returns OK. So this is not OK. We'd like to take this and split it by space. So I will call the cut command with a delimiter space and take the first field. And now, as you can see, it's only the name of the user. There are cases when you do the cutting and you need the second or some other command, some other field, not the first one. In this case, because as you can see, those are aligned differently, like you might have a column which is aligned to the left, some columns aligned to the right, and so on. So you have a variable number of spaces between the value in the columns. In such cases, you will need probably, and I will do this, even this is not necessary in my case, because I'm taking the first one, but nevertheless, you need to remove the extra spaces. So you do a trim. The trim command, it's eliminating the unnecessary separators defined by that flag. So I would like to get rid of the extra spaces. If I do that, I get the same data because it's the first column and there is no space between it, before it actually, between this column and some other column. Okay, so what I'd like to do would be to display this. So let's just copy the value from here. I like to execute the command. So I'm outputting the list of active connections. I'm eliminating the spaces. It's not necessary for my case, but in my case, but anyway. And I'd like to be able to read each line from the output and check if my argument is equal to this. So I can iterate with a while statement, and I read a line. So I have a read command which is reading a line, and it's outputting the value in a variable, in my case called line, and the while will loop as long as the read command executes successfully. So I will read each line from the output of the pipe up to here. On the next line I have to put the do keyword, and it will end with the done keyword. Okay, so now that I'm reading each line, I'd like to compare and see if my argument is equal to the line, and I will do a test. So I'm checking if the line, the value of the argument, is equal to the first argument. So in order to reference the arguments that I received in the command line, I have 9 variables called from 1 to 9. As you notice here, I'm quoting the value, and the reason for doing that is the following. If I don't have anything in the line, this will translate, the value of the line will translate in a missing operand here. If I quote it, it will be an empty operand, but still there will be an operand here. So the idea is that in order for the test to evaluate correctly the expression, I have to make sure I have something in here. It's not the case with this one, but just for a good practice I will do the same with this as well, because I just tested that I have an argument, so it cannot be empty. Okay, then, because I'm just outputting a text, I will also have an else, maybe not, anyway, so I will definitely have to do something in here. So the idea is that I'd like to just output something, like for instance, I will echo user $1 is logged in, sorry. Okay. And I like the script to exit here, so I will just say exit with the value 0. This means that it was okay, I found the user is logged in. After completing the while, if I didn't exit with OK, I will eventually echo here that the user with the name provided as argument is not logged in, and eventually I can exit with some different value. So if I find the name of the user in the column for the first time, I will say that it is logged in, and I will exit with an appropriate value, which means OK. Otherwise, in the end, it will exit with an error. If I don't have the argument, or I have multiple arguments, I will say to the user how to use it correctly. Okay, let's just go to the folder. If I display the personal working directory, I'm in my home directory, so I'll go to my documents folder where I saved it. And if I display the content, I have the buffer of my editor, and then I have the script itself. In order to be able to launch this, I will then add the permission to execute my login script, and then I will try to first launch it by its name. So it's the login script .check.sh. As you can see, the command was not found, because when the system is launching a command, it's checking if the command was found in a folder that's set in the path variable. So if I display the content of the path variable, I see that there are several folders concatenated by explanatory sign. And as you can see here, the problem is that the current directory, the dot, it's not in the list where to find the commands. So I need to launch my script login check from the current directory. As you can see, it says that there is no argument and the normal usage should be with an argument for the user. Okay, let's try and execute this with Julian. The problem that you see is that it says both that the user is logged in and it's not logged in. And if I display the exit status of the last command executed in foreground, like the variable question mark, its value is 1, which was set by the last exit. So why did it happen like so? The problem that you can see here, and you don't know about it, is that each time I execute the read is creating a subshell, and that subshell will have its own copy of the variables, will have its own execution flow. And if I define a flag up here, each time it executes the read inside, it will create a subshell, it will copy the value of the flag defined before, and I will not be able to change it. Although I change the value in here, I will not see the change in here after the subshell finishes. So what I need to do in order to make this exit to actually refer to the whole script and not the subshell that's executing the read, I need to group in a unique subshell all the lines which should be affected, which should work as the same shell. So with this, I will create a single shell with the whole script, so that when I exit here, it will exit from the script and not from the subshell of the while. So when I save this and run it again, I see that the user is logged in and the message is correctly. And if I then execute the echo of the status code returned by the last executing command in foreground, I see that it was okay, the user was found. If on the other hand I try to once again, if I execute the who command, I can see a bunch of information. But if I execute my script with Julian with a missing, okay, anyway, I see that the user is not logged in, or if I check the login, I see that it's not logged in because it is case sensitive, and so on. So as you can see, the script is displaying correctly the status of the user, if it's logged in or not. So be careful, although it might seem okay, and it should be no problem from the logical flow of the script to understand that this exit will exit the script itself, because of the way the read command actually works. It's creating a subshell. Each time you have this problem, make sure that you group the read command with the rest of your stuff, and it will belong to the same shell. So in the end, it will have the same context, and each change that you do inside it will be available outside the subshell, outside the read, the execution of the read. So be careful and make sure, if you have this problem, remember the problem with the subshell created transparently in the background when executing the read command. So thanks for watching.